Was I kidnapped as a child? I believe that I may have been kidnapped when I was little. There's a part of my life that is completely blank in my mind. I don't remember anything from the time I was 5 to 6. I remember things from when I was 3 to 4. I'm currently 21. The only thing that I remember from the time of 5 to 6 is myself crying in a dark room, with only a TV with a few old VHS tapes. Every time I've asked my mother about it, she would always change the topic and never answer me. She passed last year, so I never got a definitive answer. I tried searching my name on Google, but nothing shows up. I've been trying to get in contact with family members from around the time, but either they don't have social media or don't reply to my messages on Messenger. There are a few more family members I'll try to get in contact with. My grandmother of my mom's side never met my dad. She doesn't have social media or a cell phone, but I know where she lives, and I'm planning to send her a letter to tell her that I'm planning on paying a visit. It's been 4 years since Kvi's seen her. I know she's alive, because I saw her in a picture posted by a younger cousin last week. I'll ask her what happened because she was living with my mother and I for about 3 years from my ages 4 to 7. If anyone would know, she would. What exactly happened to me? Relevant comments. Does OOP have any pictures or records from their childhood years? OOP. I do have one baby picture. I know for a fact that my mother was my biological mother because of a DNA test I did shortly after she passed. I believe someone abducted me when I was 5 to 6, and I may have been found and returned to my family. I already wrote the letter to my grandmother with a date that I'll be going to her home in Minnesota. I live in Michigan, so hopefully I can get an answer. Was OOP's dad in the picture? Could he provide any details, or someone else from the paternal or maternal sides? OOP. Never met him. One of the only things I definitively remember my mother telling me is that he abandoned her when he found out she was pregnant and she never saw him again. I thought it may have been him, but he apparently was in prison for about 3 years from 2007 to 2010. I was born in 2003, and the time of his prison sentence happened at the same time of when I was 5 to 6, so if I was kidnapped, it couldn't have been him. It is possible, but my mom had a good relationship with most of my family. I know for a fact I can get some answers from my grandmother, so I'll update in around 2 weeks when I visit her. Could OOP be sure that it happened when they were 5 to 6? OOP. I know it happened around the ages of 5 to 6 because I have memories of every birthday since my 3rd except for 5 and 6. My only memory from that time was the one I mentioned. My mother would always discuss stories from when I was little with me, except for the ones of me being 5 to 6 years kid. Other good questions shared to OOP. Commenter. Maybe you were put in foster care for a time? Commenter. Was your mother single or maybe a bit absent during that time? Maybe she placed you in a room with a TV, keep you occupied, while she busy with something else. I'm not trying to harsh with my comment. This is a strange and puzzling thing to deal with. Maybe you can have some counseling and talk through some memories. Update. I visited my grandmother yesterday. I'm staying in her guest room, and she told me what happened. My uncle was a severe drug addict and was always trying to get high. It turns out I was indeed kidnapped by him in broad daylight. He picked me up in the front yard and multiple neighbors saw him. She told me that I was missing for a single afternoon because my uncle was dumb enough to bring me to his home, which was 20 minutes from town. Apparently, he planned to anonymously ransom me for money for cocaine or sell me to whoever. Since this happened in a small town in the 2000s and everything was resolved quickly, there was not much news coverage aside from a small mention in the local paper. So, yeah, she also said she disowned him as her son, and last she heard, he got arrested for indecent exposure over in South Dakota. TLDR, my family is fucked up.